when no one's looking and it's just you in the mirror, do you enjoy what you see?
If you're not depend on me, enter the light, 'cause you can never kill my vibe.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Full Cup, where we are pouring into mind, body, soul. It's your girl, LeArielleSimone. It's your host. I'm just so excited about this. I feel like I'm excited every episode, but I'm excited about this because we're going to talk about purpose. If you don't already know, this is a series where we are reading When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal by Brianna Wiez. We read chapter by chapter. It comes out weekly, and we just talk about healing, progression, self-development, who we're becoming, purpose. And this next chapter is all about purpose and rediscovering self. And I'm just excited to dive into it. And I just miss you guys. Every time I put on this camera, I'm reminded of purpose, I'm reminded of integrity, and most importantly, alignment. And it just feels so good. It feels so good to be doing this. So before we dive right in, make sure you have your cup. This is my vanilla chai. I'm so excited about it. But she is a vanilla chai girl. Lately, I've been like so addicted to her. I put a little bit of honey in her, a little bit of cinnamon, because cinnamon is a great anti-inflammatory girl. She is real good. And I hope y'all can hear me because I'm out enjoying outside today. Ooh, that is nice and good and strong. My type of vibe. My type of vibe. My type of vibe. My type of vibe. No, I gotta chill. Do I? Okay. Let's get into this book, y'all, because we are almost finished with her. And then when we're done with her, I really want to start the artist way. Also, let me know in the comments if you guys like chapter by chapter, or would you rather just like me read a book, highlight it, and go over the most important parts in a book? Let me know, because I'm enjoying like reading this and us talking about it, but I'm also thinking, would it be better if we kind of summarize books? And yeah, you let me know, because we all friends. So let me know in the comments. But the chapter that we are on, the title is Sometimes Purpose Can Be So Subtle You Don't Even Recognize You're Already Living It. If you're longing for a sense of purpose, a semblance of meaning, some sort of sign or affirmation that you are indeed on the right path, it will probably help to begin with understanding what purpose really is. Purpose isn't always loud. It also isn't always just one thing. It's not exclusively a job or a position, vocation, or calling. It's not always your art, and it's not always your business, though it can very often be those things. The truth is that purpose is far more dynamic and deeply embedded within the truth of who you are than you might recognize at first. So far, I like that. Because I feel like purpose can also change. Sometimes purpose isn't who you are, because who you are is always becoming, it's always changing. Because I feel like my purpose when I was in my teens was very different. I used to want to be a model. And then my purpose when I was in my 20s was very different. I just wanted to travel all the time. And now in my 30s, it's very different. It's all about helping and healing and having conversations that unpeel layers. And I just love helping, and I love communal things. I love being in a space where we're all talking. I love interacting with people. So I don't know. I do think purpose tends to change. Wait, do you guys believe that? Do you believe your purpose can change, or do you believe that we have like one destined kind of purpose that we're supposed to fulfill, and once we fulfill it? Or do you think that the means of fulfillment can change? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Okay, your purpose is something you are already living. Your purpose is a role you play, firstly, to yourself. It's the relationships you have. It's the way you care for others and they care for you. It's how you exchange love. It's how you bond with some people and break with others. It's not what you do, it's the way you do it, day in and day out. We have all met those human beings that are simply just beacons of kindness, who radiate love through everything they do. We come across them in the most unsuspecting ways, and yet they very often make such an impression on us, we can remember them to this day. That's the type of impact I want to leave on people, honestly. These are the teachers who give us guidance, the peers who saw us and stood by us, even when we feared they wouldn't, the parent who acted defiantly and taught us the meaning of bravery, or loyalty, or love, the neighbor who showed us what community means, the random person we passed as we were moving through our errands for the day that gave us a smile or spoke goodness over us, who saw in us more potential than we could have ever initially seen in ourselves. Our purpose is not something we do, it's something we become. Did I just say that? Yeah, did I just say that? Okay, every time you interact with someone, you are creating a cascading ripple effect through humanity. You cannot imagine how deeply this web of connectivity is woven, how much a single act of kindness can affect the world at large, how powerfully one soul showing another true love can impact the way a person interacts with every other person they come across forever. I believe in that. I literally believe in that. I believe that everything we do creates this ripple effect. And I think the more we do certain things in alignment with who we want to become, the more we become that and the more we tell the universe that we're ready and we're meeting it halfway. I just believe in that. And then the opposite too. The more we make decisions we don't love, the more we have habits that don't serve us, it kind of creates this ripple effect into the world where we tend to self-sabotage. We tend to be with people we're not supposed to be with. We tend to be friends with people we're not supposed to be with. We tend to just do more of that. So I do feel like whatever we do, we become more of. I had seen on Twitter a couple of months ago, people were like talking about like smoker's mouth and smoker lips. And people were trying to say that, oh, I don't smoke, I don't smoke. But it was like, anything you do consistently, people will just see. Like if you was to drink alcohol every day, people would see it. You would see it in your skin, in your eyes. If you were to work out every day and run every day, we would see it in your body. We would see it in your energy. We would see it in your confidence. Everything we do kind of like adds a ripple effect to who we are becoming. That's just one thing I believe. Let me know what you think in the comments, but I just believe that. Imagine the people within your life who have impacted you the most. Certainly, you can see that they weren't always the ones who were doing the work in the most visible ways, but often the ones who were teaching and showing you unconditional presence. Their purpose was, in part, to be that for you. It was also 1,000 other things as well. The kids they taught, or patients they nursed, the customers they helped, or the partner they loved. They were able to fulfill those roles because they brought their own unique love to the task that they were asked to complete within their lifetimes. That was just beautifully worded. In this way, our purpose is to ourselves. I know that sounds counterintuitive, as though purpose is exclusively selfless. The reality is that to be overflowing with love, we must first fill ourselves up with it. We must come to a place of knowing before we can share wisdom. We must first know connection before we can connect. Everyone you admire who has guided you and loved you into who you are today did just that. If your purpose is your job, that is extraordinary. It is not your only reason for being. And I will say that, like, I think that there's a difference between purpose and being. You know, your first and most crucial task is your commitment to your own becoming. It is from this garden that all else is harvested. Your first purpose is to just be here. Your first purpose is to just be here. Just be, just be, just be. To be weird and ordinary and exceptional. To think and feel and know and wonder. To build yourself into a person you are proud to be, even if nobody else is clapping for you. That's one thing my therapist always used to say. She used to always say, do not live by the cheers because then you'll die by the boos. Like that external validation, looking for someone else to clap, looking for someone else to show you that you are worthy of something. No, that has to be an us job. That is a self job. It's 100% an inside job. And there's a lot of power in clapping for yourself. There's a lot of power in recognizing the power in no one else clapping for you. There's a lot of integrity behind that, because it's like when no one's looking and it's just you in the mirror, do you enjoy what you see? Do you enjoy what's looking back at you? Those are the questions I tend to think to myself. It is only through this that we ultimately share our purpose with every person we know and everyone we some way will. We heal with a simple smile, a message of appreciation, a warm-hearted act of love. We heal as we teach our children and listen to our ancestors. We heal as we learn to take care of ourselves as well as we would any of them. We heal not as we change what we do upon this world, but how we do it. We become purposeful as we realize that since the very moment we were born, we were overflowing with potential to extend that love in every direction we can reach. She has a way with words that's extremely warm and inviting and compassionate, very gentle, very like, I really like it. It's like very poetic. It's very engaging. Next chapter. This is how you start to let go, even if you don't feel like you're ready yet. I love this. Hold on, because what's she talking about? You cannot force yourself to let go no matter how much you know you want to. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Hold on. Let's see what she's saying first, because this is immediately reminding me of that Tiana Taylor clip when she was saying she wasn't ready to leave. And it also reminds me of that Cardi clip when she was saying she wasn't ready to leave. Because my thing on that is sometimes it doesn't matter if you're ready or not. Sometimes you got to do things out of fear, out of anxiety. Sometimes you got to get prepared on the way. Sometimes you got to jump out the window and start to build your wings. Sometimes you just got to do it before, because the brain doesn't really know the difference. It doesn't know the difference between being prepared and not. So if you just start doing it, it will get prepared. It will do anything it needs to do to protect you and to honor the path you're on. So that's another thing. I'm like, oh, I don't know if you got to be ready to do something in order to do it. Yeah, I don't know. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. This is a conversation, so I just want to know what y'all think. You cannot force something out of your brain space, no matter how much you don't want it to be there. You cannot just simply loosen your grip and relax a little and will yourself to stop thinking entirely about something around which your entire world used to orbit. Think about new things. Like sometimes I have those thoughts too, where like I'm overwhelmed and overconsumed in certain thoughts. Sometimes true thoughts and sometimes not true thoughts, because anxiety sometimes lies to us. We don't always know the truth. Every feeling is not a fact. I don't know. I feel like anytime I feel myself getting overwhelmed with something, I really try my best to find a balance between honoring that feeling and understanding the root cause of it. Where is it coming from? And also getting up out of that. Getting up out of that. If I start to notice like this is not serving me in any way, I don't want to stay there. I don't want to stay there. That's like going to a dinner party and you can't eat nothing. I don't want to. You can't eat anything. I don't want to be there. So I don't know. Like sometimes I like to find the balance between honoring how I feel and also getting out of certain feelings that no longer serve me. Getting out of certain thoughts and patterns and habits that no longer serve me. Because I'm the type to get stuck. And I don't know if anybody else is like this, but I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive. If I stay down, I will stay down. If I stay down, I will stay down. And I can't afford that. We have bills to pay. We have people to show up to. I have a dog. I don't have the space to just be in bed crying. So it's a matter of like honoring the feeling and also knowing when to get up out of that. Oh, wait. Then she goes, this is not how it goes. You are not going to let go the moment someone tells you to move on. The day you realize you have to admit certain defeat, the heart-dropping second it occurs to you that hope is indeed futile. You do not let go by willing yourself not to care anymore. This is for the people who have never been painfully hung up on something. This is something that people who have never been deeply attached to something for a sense of safety and security and love and their future believe. There is nothing wrong with you because you almost feel a sense of anger when people tell you to just let go nonchalantly, as though they couldn't fathom the storms in your head and in your heart. How can you become so passive about something you have spent so much of your time, of your life, actively working to maintain and restore? You can't. You don't. You start to let go the day you take one step towards building a new life, and then let yourself lay and stare at the ceiling and cry for as many hours as you need. You start to let go the day you realize that you cannot continue to orbit a black hole in your life, and going on as you were before will simply not be an option. You start to let go the moment you realize that this is a catalyst. This is the moment that movies are made about and books are written around and songs are inspired by. This is the moment you realize that you will never find peace standing in the ruins of what you used to be. They say that a lot too, like you can't find peace somewhere you don't belong. I always think about that. The moment something or someone or a relationship starts stressing me out, like chronic stress, I recognize like there's no way I can thrive there. The universe, nobody wants this for me. So I always just try to pivot about that. You can only move on if you start building something new. You let go when you build a new life so immersive and engaging and exciting, you slowly over time forget about the past. We do tend to forget about the past very quickly. When we try to force ourselves to let go of something, we grip onto it tighter and harder and more passionately than ever before. It's like when someone tells you not to think of a white elephant. That's the only mental image you'll be able to focus on. Our hearts work the same way as our minds in this regard. As long as we are telling ourselves that we must let go, the more deeply we feel attached. So don't tell yourself to let go. Instead, tell yourself that you can be upset for as long as you need, that you can fall to pieces and be a mess and let your life collapse and crumble. Tell yourself that you can let your foundation fall through. What you will realize is that you are still standing. What you build in the wake and the aftermath of loss will be so profound, so stunning, you will realize that maybe the loss was a part of the plan. Maybe it awakened a part of you that would have remained dormant had you not been pushed the way you were. If you are certain that you cannot let go of what is hurting you, then don't. But take one step today and then another tomorrow to rebuild a new life for yourself, piece by piece, day by day. Because sooner or later, you're going to go an hour and realize you didn't think about them or it. Then a day, then a week, then years of your life drift by, and everything you thought would break you becomes a distant memory, something you can look back at on and smile. Everything you lose becomes something you are profoundly grateful for. With time, you will see that it was not the path, it was what was standing in your way. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was just standing in your way. Oh my God, that was so good. There are 3 types of losses in our lives, and each teaches us something very different. For many of us, as we grow into and gain in life in equal proportion, we lose, we outgrow, and we gravitate away from others. But we don't respond to every loss in the same way. There's a reason why we are absolutely devastated in the face of some breakups, but neutral, if not grateful, for others. There's a deep psychological current running beneath the surface of these events in our lives, ones that we often aren't conscious of. There are ultimately 3 types of loss that we experience in our life, and each is meant to teach us something about ourselves. Heartbreak. Heartbreak is when someone we love doesn't meet our expectations. It's when feelings are not reciprocated or when someone we care about can no longer be in our lives. Heartbreak makes us feel vulnerable. The ache isn't actually that someone hurt us, rather that we constrict our hearts and want to close off to connection in order to keep ourselves safe. Heartbreak is painful, but it doesn't make us suffer. Heartbreak is when we get ghosted, when we have a casual boyfriend or girlfriend who moves on. It's when we lose a family member but feel grateful that they are at peace. Though it stings, heartbreak is not an inherently unhealthy thing. It is a natural response to loss. Heartbreak actually teaches us what it means to love and makes us appreciate what it means to have someone in our lives because we are now aware of how easy it is to lose them. That really hit home. That really hit home because last week I did lose my grandmother, my mom's mom, and my mom's heart has been shattered, completely broken. And I just can't even imagine how she feels because what she is to me, her mom is to her. So I really don't want this to be about grief for too long, but I do want to say that death and grief teaches you so much about life and living and joy. And as terrible as an end is, it kind of allows you to redefine what a beginning looks like. So even though I'm sad that my grandmother has transitioned, I know that she's at peace. I know that she's no longer hurting. I know that cancer is no longer taking more life from her. And now other means of life can continue. So I'm just realizing that. And I hope I feel this way about other people moving on. But I do know that death and loss and grief is extremely painful and it is heartbreaking for sure. It's very devastating. Second type of loss, attachment. Unlike heartbreak, the loss of an attachment is when someone we relied on for some fundamental stability or sense of self leaves. It is easy to confuse this for love, but the difference is that when we lose an attachment, we are devastated to the point of feeling unable to function, which usually serves as the catalyst for some kind of radical or sudden self-growth, development, or life change. When we lose someone we are attached to, we go through a radical process of disintegration and often experience a drastic shift in the idea of who we are, what we believe, and where we stand in the world. The pain of losing an attachment is actually confronting the fear that we are dealing with before we got attached to that person who is no longer there. That fear usually has to do with feeling unstable, uncertain, or unclear about our future. Attachment ultimately teaches us who we really are. And I think it also teaches us what we really want. Because in the process of trying to keep the relationship intact, we sacrifice a lot of our own values and sense of self. There's a lot of controversy going on right now about how having a boyfriend is embarrassing, but I don't think it's the boyfriend part that's embarrassing. I think it's the lack of self-identity. It's the lack of self-esteem. It's the lack of worthiness around it. It's the things that you're willing to do in order to have a boyfriend. It's the standards you're willing to negate to have a boyfriend, to have a partner. So I don't know about that. Not only is the topic a bit heteronormative, but even in women to women relationships, even in friendships, you start to notice like, oh, the things I'm willing to do for connection, this is embarrassing. Where is the self-love? Certain things are embarrassing, especially when you got to look at who you becoming in an attempt to get something that you want. So it's like, that's the part I think is embarrassing. The extreme pain of loss of an attachment is not the actual loss of the person as it is the loss of what we thought our future would be with them. Third loss, detachment. Lastly, detachment is what happens when we willingly let go of someone because we recognize they aren't good for us, even if it means that we hurt ourselves a little bit in the process. Detachment comes from real self-awareness and personal evolution. It's when we no longer cling onto what's not serving us because we are scared. Detachment can often create heartbreak or the feelings that come with loss of attachment, but the difference is that this is a separation we initiate because we have enough clarity to realize that the relationship isn't actually good for us. On the other hand, heartbreak and attachment are often the result of being left or abandoned, even if we already know that the relationship isn't working out as well. Detachment is a sign of maturity, the prioritization of our future selves and our long-term well-being. There's so much power in detachment. It really, really is. I think in order for us to detach, we have to have faith that what's next for us is what's best for us. We have to. We literally have to have this idea, this logic that the second we let this go, we have created space to gain so much more. And that's easier said than done. Avi. That's easier said than done. But we lately been talking a lot about faith and trusting that what's next is going to be absolutely great for us. And if you look at the evidence, that usually is what happens. Like every time you rearrange or clean or get rid of things, you get more things that are actually in alignment with what you want, what you like, who you are, and the next chapter. Lately, I've been really loving and honoring the practice around detachment. It allows you to let go of this external thing that has power over you. No, actually, this don't got no power over me. This don't take nothing for me to let go. Bye. And if it do take something for me to let go, I'm working through that. I am going to work through that, and that is going to be a part of the journey. It what it is. It what it is, y'all. So that's how I feel about that. Detachment teaches us how to love ourselves first. It teaches us how to be resilient. It is a goal that our sign in life is no longer just to be comfortable. It is the greatest display of self-love. Detaching from a relationship when we know it isn't right is a sign that we no longer rely on others for our sense of stability and self. And it is often the first sign that we are more mentally strong and emotionally free than ever before. Oh, y'all. This was good. This was a really, really good segment. Oh my God. Please let me know in the comments what you thought, what you took away. Was there anything you want to put into practice or things you have already been doing? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Talk to me in the comments because you know I like to talk back. We are friends at this point. Again, if you are new here, this is part of Full Cup where we are reading When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal by Brianna Wies. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Please be sure to hydrate yourself. Hydrate. Because when we pour into ourselves, we're creating space to pour into others. So cheers to that. Y'all. Later. Oh, like, comment, subscribe, share this, tell a friend, and make sure you fill yourself up. Later.